On. It's every day, bro. I pray my cryptos grow. Pray to the crypto gods just so I can travel. Mo, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so elated to have this guest back on Solo TV 84, and I'm your gracious host. Listen, you could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you chose to be here, and for that, I'm grateful. And we got a special guest, a gentleman that I interviewed 2 years ago out of the blue, making waves. Uh, Go ahead, sir. Introduce yourself, man. You don't need an introduction, but introduce yourself.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me again, man. I love watching your channel grow, the content you guys are putting out here, man, the conversations. I don't have a lot of time on YouTube to watch videos, man, but I always make sure to catch on new stuff. Nothing but love, man. But yeah, I'm Eric Prince, minority nomad, travel journalist, philanthropist, photographer, global citizen, whatever you want to call me. And yeah, man, it's good to be back, man.
All right, man. So make sure you guys, I got Eric's Instagram up, minority nomad. It's all together, no spaces. This brother is doing it. He's been to over 90 different countries. Eric, it's been a while since you've been on my channel. I mean, our first interview was 2 years ago, and then you came on another live stream that got a little bit heated where, we were going back and forth, if you remember. But tell the my audience has grown since we've talked last time. Can you tell the people who you are and what is it that you do, please?
Well, I'm a travel journalist. So my career started, I started a small nonprofit foundation to teach low-income kids about travel and photography. My biggest, and still to this day, my biggest goal is to get a camera in the hands of anybody coming from an impoverished community because the narrative surrounding people of color that come from poverty has always been framed by white folk. So I figured, and photography was a medium that saved me. So I want to kind of share that with the kids that are coming up in the kind of environment I grew up in East Cleveland. So I started that project, and it kind of snowballed into me traveling around the world. One of the biggest pushbacks was that Black folks don't travel. I get that from everybody, Black folks, white folks, everybody. And I said, to hell with it. I took a freelance job. I saved all that money. So everything I had, got about 19K and just hit the road. And this was 2012. I've been on the road ever since. Now I travel around the world working with tourism boards, companies like Shangri-La Hotels, American Airlines, Chase, Marriott Hotels, Facebook, doing brand campaigns, deals, digital content. And I started a small digital marketing firm 2 years ago. And yeah, we work with luxury brands targeting millennials and people of color to travel.
And one thing you forgot to mention that to me as an amateur, an emphasis on amateur, but you are one of the best photographers I've seen, sir. like you forgot to mention that. Come on now.
I appreciate it, man. You know, photography is, man, it's what I love, man. And it's one of those mediums for me, man. It's one of those always get better kind of things. Like I look at my work from a year ago, I was like, what was I thinking? So I always say, the best picture I ever took was the one I took tomorrow. So it's one of those mediums. I always appreciate the love of my photography, man. Thank you so much.
All right, Eric, and brothers already sending me message via DMs asking about the ladies. But hold up, brothers. Let's we gonna give them the game. And Eric, before I begin, and I'm not just saying this, for the camera. I've said it before. You were like one of the first YouTubers, not just YouTubers, but consultant, travelers, whatever it is that you define yourself, to give me a shot when I was a small channel. I mean, I'm still a small channel. Obviously, compared to 2 years ago, I've grown quite a bit, but I really appreciate you for that, because you could have been like, who? Solo TV? Who the hell is that? Nah, I'm not gonna, So, and this is what I wanted to emphasize is that, when you have brothers that want to share the game, give you their lessons in their journey, you're talking to a gentleman who's been to over 90 countries. So it's not like he's just been to, Tijuana and back. No disrespect to brothers who go to Tijuana, but you've been around. So I really do appreciate that. And I think that you're doing a great service. Let's get into the first question here, Minority Nomad. You've been to over 90 different countries. what do you feel you have learned the most about the world since? If you had to, I know that's a huge question, but
yeah, that's a big one.
do you feel like your views have changed since you've traveled, or?
Oh, yeah, man, that's no doubt, like no doubt. Oh man, that's a big one. It's a big one because there's so many different things. Yeah, let me give you a couple. I'll give you a few. One of the biggest things I would say, you know, at the top of the list is empathy. I think that when you grow up in a community that's all black or all people of color, and you consistently see the struggle, it's easy to believe that that's how it is. Like you're the only people struggling, especially when you have a white narrative being presented, like this is wealth and this is poor. So when you travel the world and you see people everywhere struggling of all colors, you go to Egypt, Thailand, Cambodia, Haiti, like all these places where you see people have a struggle similar to yours and worse in a lot of cases, it sparks another level of empathy because you see it. I think it's about exposure. I think exposure has given me a different perspective on how people live, and then the very basics of what people have to survive on has given me a different level of empathy. I also think that people in general are the same, but with a few minor differences here and there. I think people just want to be happy. Like people want, to eat. People want a roof over their head. They want friends. They don't want family. Everything else outside of that is extra. Like a big car or new iPhone or fly clothes or late. All that stuff is extra. But the very base foundation things are simple. And that there's so many places to see and discover. That like even though the internet makes the world feel very small. I'm in Bangkok right now. You're back home. So like the internet makes the world seem.
Wait. Can you say that again? Where are you at?
I'm in Bangkok. Right now.
Thailand.
Yeah. So like the internet makes the world seem so small. But when you disconnect and you out here, man, like I'm in Bangkok, and Bangkok's home for me when I'm off the road. It's a city of like 9.1 million people, and there's stuff that I still find. Like I see you got my Instagram up. Like it's little experiences that you might experience, 3-4 years ago, and you go back and you see them again, and it resparks that fire, that passion, that love for travel. So it's those are probably the biggest things that I've actually learned from traveling.
Definitely. And Minority Nomad, I'm glad you brought up Bangkok because that is my follow-up question. We've talked about you being in Bangkok before as a black man in Thailand, your experiences, the nightlife, if you recall. But I wanted to get a different aspect now from you. Being in Bangkok, what are some of your favorite local spots to hit? And I'm not talking necessarily nightlife, but where does Minority Nomad like to get maybe some mushu, some food, or
Why you keep talking about mushu, man? I ain't Thai, man. Mushu, right? That's Chinese. But yeah, here's the thing about Bangkok, man. I couldn't list them all. Like it's one of those things. Like I wake up and it's like, y'all want some somtam, and I know a vendor that's not too far from where I stay. But I also might want some mango sticky rice. But I know a vendor that's on the other side of the town that I love. And I was like, y'all want to hear some jazz? I know 7 great jazz clubs. And maybe I want to have a cigar. I'm a member of 2 different cigar clubs here. So I think the thing about Bangkok is there's so much to offer. If you couldn't see everything here in a lifetime. Like it's so many little markets always popping up, and it's because the thing about Bangkok is it's always changing, it's always evolving. One day for a year, this little old lady makes pad thai at the same spot across from a 7-Eleven, and then all of a sudden she's just gone. She's just gone, never to be seen again. And sometimes your favorite vendors, like I've got a vendor that does this amazing grilled chicken. And him and his family have been running that stall for like 15 years. Like they were there. They were there when I first came out here. Like this was like 2004. I came through and they were there. Like they've been out there a minute in the same spot. So for me, I think the further away from the center that I get, the more I enjoy spots. Like Bangkok, the center of Bangkok, no matter what other people are going to tell you, is Sukhumvit. Sukhumvit is the expat center of this city. It's where all the real shopping malls are. All kind of like the major hotels are either off Sukhumvit or Ceylon. The further away that you get from the center, the further away you get from places like Siam Paragon, which is the center, the better it is. And if you're around locals, man, it's going to be an amazing experience no matter what you do.
Now, Eric, I want to bring this up. And I'm not trying to get too deep, but in the USA, black men, we have a reputation for being, and I know I'm going to stereotype, but let's just keep it a buck, reputations for being hooligans, for being thugs. As you've traveled over 90 different countries, is black men's reputation overseas the same as in the USA, or is it different? What is your thoughts? And I know that's, once again, you've been to so many countries, but when you notice, if you're like in Bangkok, when you approach a local, are they scared of you? Are they running away? Are they saying that, Gayaka? What's going on?
Farang, man, God damn it, man, you're killing me, Solo.
I'm sorry, bro. I've been to Asia.
But that's a great question, man. Okay, so I always answer this in twofold, man. I've seen a lot of bullshit black travelers perpetuating a narrative that black folks people are scared of us, and everybody thinks we're thugs and hooligans abroad. The beauty about traveling the world as a black man is if you have an opportunity to create your own narrative. Of course, there are preconceived notions to what black men are everywhere. I've seen it all around the world. But people usually give you a shot. They give you a chance because you're a foreigner first. You're a foreigner before you're black. Mm-hmm. You're an American, especially for us. You're an American before any fucking thing, especially in a place like Thailand. I have never approached somebody and they reeled back in fear. Like all I've gotten was smile. Man, every day, this is what I love about traveling, especially in places like Southeast Asia, where I walk on a daily basis. And it's a habit. If I make eye contact with somebody, I smile at them or I give them a nod. Every single time, I won't say every single time, I'd say 9 times out of 10, it's reciprocated with a smile and a nod. Men, women, children, all the time. So this idea that we're big and scary, yeah, it's out there, but people aren't running, people aren't hiding. Like I was at that train, you posted up a picture at the train market.
Hold on, let me bring it back. Okay, go ahead.
I was walking down the track, I had just taken that shot. And I was walking down the track, and a guy had a camera, and he waved at me and pointed his camera like picture. I was like, yeah, sure. And he put his arm around me, and we took a selfie. And he said, thank you, and walked away. Then I saw him in the market again, and he's like, hey, like we were best friends. Like, hey, man. He's like, oh, you good? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, have a nice. Like it was like that instinct kinship. Like one of the things we have to realize is, as people of color traveling, is we're still kind of unicorns. Like. No matter how many YouTube videos or Facebook groups you see out there about black travel or the new black travel movement, we're still extremely rare, especially in Southeast Asia. The further from the US you get, the least likely outside of Africa, of course, but the least likely you're going to see people of color. So when locals do see people of color, they're curious first. They're curious before they're afraid. And I think I would say it's even 90 to 10. 90% curiosity, 10% fear. And as soon as they speak to you or you take a picture with them or you smile at them, it's 100% love, man. Best experience I've had are because I'm black. Hands down easily.
Now, it's funny because I talked to another YouTuber, but he's not a travel YouTuber. He does more financial things by the name of Ian Balina. Shout out to him. And he went to Japan for the first time late 2017. And he mentioned that everywhere he would walk by, people would be like, can we take a picture? Can we take a picture? You know, he's
No,
like, he felt like he was a celebrity. Do you get that a lot when you walk around? I know you remember in the first room you said people say Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
remember
Tyson, Uzbekistan. Yeah, in Uzbekistan. That was Uzbekistan. But I get that. Not so much in places like Bangkok because I mean it's normal saying black folks in Bangkok now. In places like Tokyo, not so much in Tokyo. You get it in places like Osaka. But you know what? Let me step back. If there are Chinese tourists around, absolutely. It's the Chinese mainly that because there really aren't black folks in China. Like there's no like in Tokyo is more common to see black folks. Tokyo, Thailand, Vietnam now, Singapore, but Malaysia. Malaysia. But China, no, still, and China's a rough place to be black. So a lot of those times when you run into Asian look, because you can't tell the difference unless you lived out here. You can't tell the difference for the most part between Chinese, Japanese, Korean. So, like it's difficult at times. So a lot of the people who approach you are likely Chinese tourists, especially from the provinces or rural China. And I've had a lot of pictures taken with these people, and it's always been like positive, high energy. But something I've said, and I think this might be a good platform to bring this up. A lot of black female YouTubers or travelers or expats complain about it a lot, and I'm never one to disregard somebody's lived experience. And it's uncomfortable for me to do so. But I think it's something that we need to expect. You know, they look at it as, it's like we're zoo animals. And I'm like, well, I mean, it is what it is. Like, if you grow up in a 99.9% black neighborhood and you see some white folks just show up, yeah, you're going like, the fuck they doing here? Like, you're going to be, you know, like, why y'all here? What you doing? You know, so.
They're coming for the chicken. That's why.
Yeah, I come for the chicken, man. I go to Korea for chicken. So yeah, man. Back to your question. I'm sorry, I'm rambling a bit, but yeah, man, it happens to me all the time, man. I enjoy it. It's opened a lot of doors for me. Some of my best images have came because people wanted to interact or take pictures with me. Yeah.
Definitely. Now, Eric, you and I, like I said, our first interview was in 2016. And once again, I was a nobody. I'm pretty sure when I hit you up, you're like, "Who is this Negro?" You know what I'm saying? And I do want to say once again, this means a lot to me because I've hit up other YouTubers in regards to Eric's realm, and they were talking about how much are you gonna pay me. Eric has never asked me for money, so I appreciate him. No, that's a stand-up dude. And Eric, man, you gotta send me your PayPal. I will drop a donation. I know you don't need it because you balling, player.
Man, you know what, man? I'm good. You know the funny thing, like people always ask me why I don't have a Patreon or I don't have ads on my channel. Even if you look at my blog, I don't have any ads on there. I don't put
facts.
But
that's facts.
Yeah, I mean, Minority Nomad exists for people of color to get information about traveling and exploring and what it's like to be black abroad, a global citizen. Like, here's the thing. My job, what I do for a living, I travel the world, talk about it, and get paid for it. That's my job. Like, my fucking job. And I've created this from scratch. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to get to a position. And I'm happy to shit on a lot of people, man, because I think this black travel thing has gotten out of control to the point where people are they're exploiting our community's ignorance when it comes to travel. And it pisses me off when I see people like, oh, well, I'll give you the secrets to being the next great travel blogger, black travel blogger. Pay me $29.99 a month for my course. I'm like, the fuck out of here, man. I was like, yo, we don't have, it's like 6 of us. Like, really.
Right.
Professional travel journalists, bloggers / personalities. It's like 6 or 7 of us, like, who do this for a living. And people out here trying to sell that. Like, yo, anybody who's ever hit me up on my Instagram and my email On Facebook, I've always responded one way or the other. Maybe I don't have time to go into a lot of detail for that person, but I at the very least respond. So when you reach out to me or anybody else reaches out to me for an interview, I've got another interview with a young sister next week. I know where it's coming from. It was like, is this being, when the first like, yo, are you putting this in a course? You're trying to make money? If you're like, yo, I'm just doing this for my channel to help, yeah, 100%. I'll never ask for a penny from you because I get companies to pay me. Like Marriott pays me, Chase pays me, Facebook pays me. I don't need y'all money. Like y'all my people. I would never sell y'all. I would never, man. I'm sorry, man. It pisses me off because I see so often. I'm like, yo, man, people just want to fucking talk to you, man. These are the people who put you on. Like these are the people who have supported you. And whenever I see like somebody, a person of color, who leverages our community but doesn't give back, it bothers me. Because that's what I do. I leverage us. I leverage our community. I leverage the fact that I'm a black man, minority nomad. I'm a black man traveling the world. That's my niche. That's my leverage. That's my story. That's my narrative. So why would I take money from our people? Like maybe I'll promote something that I think will be good for us.
Now hold up, Eric. I do have to interject. Now there's a brother probably saying, I live in Brazil. I'm not making a lot of money, but when brothers come, they're helping to pay me. So who are you to tell me what the hell I should or shouldn't be doing? If they're
I'm nobody to tell you. I'm absolutely nobody to tell you. Everybody's free to do whatever they want, but I'm also free to have my opinion.
Of course.
I'm like, yo, like I get that, but I think it's different though. I think if you have a brother that's say living in Brazil and wants to do a little side hustle as a tour guide or whatever, which I've actually thought about doing in Bangkok too. I'm like, okay, I get that. You are providing a dope, unique service, but to be selling the game of travel influencing or blogging or my time to have a conversation with you as another black man, come on, man. Like, or just say no. I was like, yo, B, I don't have time. I don't got time. Or like, man, it's a personal thing. And maybe I'm coming off a little harsh. I know I have a tendency to do that sometimes. But for me, for Eric Prince, I can't take direct money or payment for just providing information to my community, the people that I love. Like to me, you're my brother. If you was like, yo, I'm coming to Bangkok, let's kick it. I'm like, all right, cool, beer's on you though. Like just like I would do it any other friend, as a friend. And that's how it, like, I've met so many viewers and readers over the years, and they'll tell you a lot of times I'll pick up the tab. Like, or if they offer, yeah, I ain't gonna turn down nothing. But to put up to make a concerted effort to make money off our community is something I don't support. I get it, I understand it. I try not to knock people's hustle, but nah, that's not something I support.
And Eric, real quick for emphasis, all of these pictures I'm showing on your Instagram are pictures that you took, correct?
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, everything on my.
Now, Eric, minority nomad. I mean, I know you don't care if I call you your real name or your alias. Last time we talked, what you were doing is a niche, and still is a niche. I mean, I don't know a lot of brothers doing that have been to over. Let me emphasize, over 90 different countries. However, I have noticed since last time you and I have spoken, there's been a rise of travel channels on YouTube, especially among black men, discussing traveling and things like that. Are you surprised by this, or what's your thoughts from what you have seen?
Well, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised for a couple of reasons. I think YouTubers are getting far more popular in general. It's more accepted to be a YouTuber. It's cool. It's cool now to be a YouTuber. As you know, when we started, 5-6 years ago, like when YouTube was a baby and a lot of cats weren't blogging. And it seems like easy money. It seems like easy money for a lot of people. So everybody's jumping on that. Everybody wants to be like Casey Neistat or whatnot. But also, man, I'm not seeing a lot of quality either, though. Like this is and this is not me shitting on a lot of people, man. I'm not seeing a lot of quality content coming out. And the narrative seems to be the same. I don't know, man. I'm still on the fence about if we're seeing a lot. I see a lot of brothers talking about a lot of deep stuff now. But I don't know, man. I'm on the fence about that, man. I had to get back to you for sure.
Okay, so you're on the fence. Are you on the fence because of the places that they're going or their content?
Content, man. Content matters to me, man. Like I think content should be two things. It should be entertaining and educational. And everything you put out should be those two things. And I see a lot of people chasing the views, just chasing the clicks, putting a fat ass in the thumbnail to get views. And I'm like, man, come on, man, we're better than this. But again, I think I hold black folks to a higher standard than a lot of people. Like I think I hold our community to an extremely high standard of conduct, which is unfair. And I totally 100%, it's unfair, the standard that I hold our community to, I think. But when I see a lot of these things perpetuating the stereotypes that others have put on us, I get frustrated by it.
Well, Eric, one thing I like about your content is that you were one of the first brothers I see. You got that 1080 footage. You know, I mean, you can see the sweat from the locals coming down their cheeks. You the flies going in and out the food, like, and you know, you are not afraid to showcase yourself out there. In regards to where you're at, your Malta footage, classic. There was another, I forgot the name, where you were at this luxurious hotel. That shit looked bomb as hell to me. I was like, woo, this dude is doing it big, like, woo, you know. And you know, I'm like, this brother don't stay at no shitty hostels. He stays where it's at.
I stay, man. Actually, you know, the funny thing is, and you know what, man? Fuck it. I'm going to go ahead and announce this, man. I got big news, man. I've been waiting. I was going to announce next week, but I might as well do it with you. So I'm actually leaving Bangkok. Cutting ties with Bangkok, and I'm going to be on the road for a year and a half. I put together a few partnerships that is going to take me around the world. So I'll be speaking at a conference in September in Austin. So I'll be back in the U.S. for about 2 weeks, then back on the road. So I leave Bangkok on the 28th, the 29th, excuse me, July 29th. So here in 10 days, I fly to London. So I'll do a few days in London, then I'm off to Paris. Then I go to Poland. I'm doing a project for a couple weeks in Poland. Then I'm going to go down. I'm going to try to make over to Belarus, go down to Cyprus, do some time in Turkey, make it back to Italy and Spain. Then I fly to the U.S. 2 weeks in September. Then I'm back in Europe until November. Then I'm trying to go to the Philippines for Christmas. Go do some time in India. So I'm kind of going to be on the move. So the big thing is, man, I'm out here, and I'm not sure. And one of the biggest things that I want to do is I don't want to showcase me. Like, I want anybody to be able to look at Minority Nomad and see information and things that they love: Black, white, Chinese, American, German, whatever. And it just so happens that I'm Black. And I hope that comes across in all the content I produce. Well, and go ahead.
Well, Eric, one thing, and we've talked about this before, and you mentioned this earlier, you are one of the few Black men doing what you're doing, traveling as a blogger, vlogger, photographer. And most of the Blacks, and I'm not trying to diss nobody, I'm just keeping it a buck, are women. I mean, if you look at the list, they had a list last year, the 15 most Black women, the 50 most Black people that you got to follow. Out of the 15, 13 of them were women. So, you know, so I think, Eric, you are kind of, you are a very small minority of what you do in terms of the scale. Why do you think there's by far so many more Black women doing what you're doing compared to Black men?
That's a big one, man. And you know, we can go into a lot of reasons, okay? So, all right, let's start this with first off, quality, and let's just start with the people who are doing it, because I know Black men and Black women who are in the game. Women produce better quality than we do in the game. They are destroying us, and it's like they are better writers, better videographers. They're just producing better content. Next is they have a significantly higher community around them, meaning women. Women support women more than men support men.
Eric, wait, please say that again. Please say that again.
Women support women more than men support men.
Oh, Thank you. Thank you. Thank yo.
They have tribes of women together. Man, I'm telling you, you go Onika the Traveler, a great friend of mine, love her to death, talk to her all the time. Onika, I call her the queen of black travel now. Like, she's doing amazing things, has a travel channel show now, and a lot of her success comes from two reasons. A, she produces amazing content consistently, and B, women fucking love her and support her. Like, it's and I think Onika, and hopefully Onika sees this and she knows I'm not disparaging her at all. But she has a tribe of women. You go look at her page and her channel, the comment section full of sisters, because they present this. Not only do you present as a black woman, but you also present as a woman. That's two entirely separate niches that are both strong. I can't talk to what it's like being a woman in India. I can't do that. Not only that, but sexuality sells. Like, if you look at my channel, there's no selfies of me. Like, the only time you see me is when I do an IG story, I'm talking about something, or maybe on YouTube when I'm actually walking or vlogging. But my content is about the destination, about the people. And that's a choice that I've made. But there's no way that I can post an ass picture that's going to get as many likes as some other fun chick. Like, it's just the way the game is. And I'm not mad at it, but that's why more women. That's why very few women, like, if you look at, say, those 13 out of 15 women, I guarantee you a vast majority of that content is selfies. I guarantee you. Or bikini shots.
And some of those women, Eric, let's keep it a buck, they are gorgeous women too.
Of course they are. If I was a fine woman, I'd do the same thing. Like, if I had 8-pack abs, I have my shirt off all the time. Like, it's how you get in the door. But the question is, what do you do when you get in there? Like, what are you producing when you're in the door? And this is why even the females, I see a lot of females end up not making it too long. Like, and again, I go back to Onika. Onika got in the door, and Onika is still in there because she makes an amazing content. Like, she has something to say. She's intelligent, articulate. She's great at what she does. And I think one of the things that young brothers who want to do this, and I get messages from young brothers all the time asking me how they can do this, what should they be doing, how they can become a travel journalist or a social media influencer. And it's be you, be black, be authentically you. Don't like, I get here with people like, why you talk so white? Like, how I talk. Like, or people will come at me like, why do you cuss so much? I like to say fuck a lot. Like, that's who I am. It's how I express myself. Like, but one thing people can't say is that I'm fake. Like, be authentically you, and you'll find your tribe. Everybody's going to come to you who fucks with you. Like, there are a lot of people who don't like my content. A lot of Hotep brothers come for me all the time. And I'm like, all right, dog.
Hotep.
Oh, B, don't get me on these cats, man. Like, I only have something against Hotep cats when they come at people who aren't doing what they doing. Like, I'm like, yo, man, I don't come to your channel and talk shit. And why you gotta come to mine?
Wait, Eric, what is the quote unquote Hotep's biggest criticism of you?
That I don't go to African nations. Or that
funny thing is, most of them probably haven't been to Africa either.
It's funny. Yeah, I've been to more African nations than most cats that have criticized me. I know for a fact. But it's A, that I don't go to more African nations, and B, that I have the nerve to criticize our community at times. And it's a lot of fuckery in our community. And if we're not going to talk about it, trust me, you can't bitch and moan about white folks talking about the issues in the black community when people in the black community are talking about the issues. Like, ain't nobody going to fix these problems but us. Like, we have to discuss this amongst ourselves. As black men, we should be the first ones to criticize each other. As brothers, we should, like, if you're fucking up, I'm going to say something to you about it. And I expect it from you. Like, that because trust me, black women going to do it. Like, it was like, oh, black women always down there on the black man. Whereas we don't do it to ourselves. We need to do it to ourselves, man. Like, we got to have these conversations, man. So I think all the way back, man, we circled all the way around. Back to your original question. I think you would see a lot more brothers doing this, if the opportunities were there. Because here's the reality, man. we are disproportionately represented in the prison system. We are disproportionately underrepresented in higher education. You have a lot of brothers who only focus on that ass, as opposed to focusing on, like you said, building their legacy. We have a lot of issues as brothers and black men that we need to address before we can even start talking about kind of narrowing the gap between people of color in the travel space.
And Eric, man, I appreciate you keeping it 100. We do have some questions in the chat for brothers who are donating. I appreciate that, so I will read those questions. Shout out to Marcus A. Brown. I see him in the chat. He's a YouTuber.
Shout out. I like Marcus, man. I like that cat.
Shout out to Mr. Wisdom with the male wolf lifestyle. He talks about exactly what you just mentioned, Eric. Phenomenal YouTuber. And then shout out to Xanadol's Clutch. He's also a YouTuber. So it's good to see black men supporting, because this is what Eric was just talking about. Not enough brothers are supporting each other. And the fact that y'all donating means a lot, because this will allow not just me to travel and show you guys what I show you guys on my Patreon, but also in general, once I get to that level. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be on Eric's level, but you guys get the gist. I mean, we want to show you brothers a different way of life. Eric, Zendel's Clutch, he asked with his donation, shout out to him, question to Nomad. Is it true that a black man is treated more like an American, quote unquote, when he leaves America, like I suspect?
100%. Absolutely true. Yeah. And I said this all the time, like, yo, you're American before you're black. Like, because think about this. If you're an expat abroad, you ain't broke for the most part. I haven't met a lot of broke expats. And a lot of places, and you remember, I can't remember the exact number now, but last year the stat was, if you make 36,000 US dollars, you're in the top 1% of people globally. I know the number fluctuation change, but think about this. I don't think 36,000 is really that much. I mean, that's not middle class in the US. So imagine if you get a job or you work digitally online or something, you make $36,000 to $37,000. Pretty much almost everywhere you go abroad, you're going to be middle to upper middle class. And that comes with a level of privilege that a lot of people have never experienced. And one of the beauties, I'm going to do a video. Look out for this video that I'm going to do about why I'm leaving Bangkok. And one of the reasons that I ended up settling in Bangkok was privilege. It is a place where you can do everything we hear that white folks do at home. Like all the privilege of white folks experience at home, we got it here because we can fucking afford it. Like it's once you get abroad, that blue passport means a lot more than it does back home. Absolutely. Yeah, great question. Yeah.
Great question, Xanadol's Clutch. And Alpha Male Wisdom, aka Male Wolf, says black men will support a female over a male. Facts. That goes back to what to the Anika point you were making. Do you agree with that?
I agree with it. Okay, let me step back. Black brothers will support brothers that they know, like to the death. But brothers don't really support brothers that they don't know. And here's why I believe this: is we're brought up in a culture where black men other brothers are presented as the foil, the enemy, the counter. We're presented as, on the football field, on basketball court, in gang culture, in rap beefs. Like, the other black man is always your rival or your enemy. Yes. In the media, it's always perpetuated that way. So even subconsciously, that's there. But when I see brothers as expats, nothing but love. When, like, I've had my cigar club, there's 10 or 11 of us that we run into each other. We have whiskeys. We talk shit about cigars. We just chop it up about life. Nothing but love. If I needed anything, I'm sure I can hit one of these online chat and be like, yo, can you help me out with this? Yeah, for sure. It's this fear of other brothers that black women just don't have of other black women, because black women have never really been presented as rivals to each other. If you think about growing up, we're always presented as each other's rivals. It's very rare that a black man and a white man are presented as rivals. as contemporary rivals to beat each other. The white man's always elevated, and the black man's the bad guy to be beaten, and the white guy usually wins. But in pretty much every other narrative, you got, Kobe versus LeBron, you got Tupac versus Biggie, you got, like, it's always that kind of narrative. So I think that's where that comes from, man.
Eric, speaking so many gems, man. I love it. Eric, let's talk about this topic. I know you've mentioned this before, but I want to bring this up because this has affected me in a way, and I'll explain here in a second. You mentioned that travel shaming is very prevalent in the Black community.
Oh, yeah.
And I noticed that when I do certain things, when I travel on my IG, I might post it, I get people saying, "Where are you?" and people saying snide comments. Do you think this is just prevalent in the Black community, or do you think it's everywhere?
It's everywhere. It's everywhere, but it's magnified because we like to throw shade in our community, which is it's a gift that we have. And there's a lot of jealousy, resentment, for a lot of different reasons. It's one of the hardest things about what I do for a living is when my people, our community, comes for me for bullshit, like exactly like the whole not going to Africa more thing. But I hate, like, there's this group called Nomad tribe. And it is some of the most elitist shit that I've ever seen in my life. It's like, how many, bet I have more passport stamps than you do. Like, fuck you. Like, yo, there are very few people who have traveled more than me, but you would never hear that come out of my mouth, me using that as some kind of superiority complex or kind of one up on somebody else. Yo, I am proud of any person of color who has traveled to Jamaica, who's traveled to the Dominican Republic. Like, go wherever you can, or whoever who's going to fucking Colorado from New York. Like we need to support each other for just traveling. That's a big thing in our community. And I think so many people of color have lost perspective, especially young people of color who are, 23, 24, who didn't come up in the 80s and the 90s where this shit was unheard of. Where, like, the only people who were traveling, remember this, think back. How many people in 96, 97 who were Black were traveling? Like, outside of the military. It was always your uncle that was in the army, like, who went to Japan or Germany. Like, but now it's so normal, people feel comfortable with throwing shade at where people were going. Man, this is my message to people of color. Go wherever the fuck you want to go, for whatever reason you want to go, and to hell with anybody who's got. The moment that somebody starts paying for my travels is the moment they can tell me where I can and cannot go.
And I'm glad you brought that up. Which, man, Eric, you're like a psychic, my Negro. The next question is then. Let me ask you this: do you prefer to travel solo or with friends?
Ooh, that's a good question. It depends on what the travel is. Normally, I'd say 90% of my travel is solo. I prefer kind of doing my own thing, but you also have to remember a lot of my travel is work-based. So I'll get an assignment, and I can't exactly really take a friend. So I get up. I'm up at 4:30, 5 a.m. in the morning. So I'll go work out, and then I have to go catch sunrise. Every city is a little bit different in that when the city wakes up, it's slightly adjusted. But some of the best photos that you're going to get of a city without any tourists or people are usually in the morning, first thing in the morning. Yeah. So I'm always up and out, and a lot of my friends can't handle that because for me, travel isn't a vacation. Travel is work, and kind of a balance of both. And a lot of my friends who have 1 week, they want to see everything. They want to go to the club. They want to go party. I'm like, yo, I got to get up at 4:35 to hit the gym, and then I got to go to work. I got to go out and get these shots. With that said, I have had friends who be like, yo, you mind if I travel with you for a week? Yeah, cool, come on. And we go kick it like I did in my video with my with the big homie Tony Gunn. And we did Germany, we did Czech Republic, we did Poland, we did Malta together. And that was over about, this was like 10, 11 days. We traveled together. And it was great because he also loves photography. He's also very similar kind of style. Then Songkran, which is my favorite time in Thailand, I had like 7 friends fly in from the U.S., from Europe, and from New Zealand. All flew in, and we had a blast. Like I was like, yo, I'm not working for these 5 days. And all we did was run around, shoot water guns, ate, went to the clubs, partied. It was great. So I think it's for me, it's a balance of both. I love both for different reasons, and I hate both for different reasons.
That's dope. That's dope. Now, Eric, you recently slowed way down on your YouTube content because you came back to the US, and I noticed, and I'm not trying to call you out, bro, but you seem depressed like a motherfucker that you were back in the USA, and it was kind of like the movie Get Out, that you like, yo, I'm trying to get out of here. Why was that? Tell me about that coming back. Why did you feel like that, if you don't mind?
So I know what you're talking about. Excuse me, let me hit this water. My bad.
Water. Yo, Eric was hitting that ginseng earlier, though. You know.
Yeah, I got that ginseng.
The ginger.
So I remember the video you're referring to. It was when I came back to the U.S. and I had been on the road for 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
It was back in the U.S. in 18 months, and man, you get rewired when you leave the U.S. Man. Like you see a different way of living, you see a different social structure globally. I feel like the world is one thing and the US is another. Like I didn't notice it until I had been gone for almost 2 years. How our culture is a culture of fear. It's a culture of suffering. It's a culture of negativity. I love America. I love us, man. I absolutely love us. I'm a proud American. I bled for our country. But we have a lot of things that we don't do very well. And empathy is one of those things. And the way I saw people treating others in New York, the way I saw the media represent life in general. Man, yo, I remember watching fucking squirrel videos as a kid on the news. Like, I remember watching positivity. I remember shows like One Take Trip, where that was actually a news segment where the guy would travel around Ohio. Now it's just negative, gun violence, Trump, the black community, protests, bombs, natural disasters. And it's like this whole fear. And as soon as you get back to the US, you feel it on your shoulders. There's no way not to. And it was heartbreaking because I saw so many people who couldn't get out. I could book a one-way ticket anywhere in the world at a moment's notice. But interacting with Americans who couldn't do that, who didn't even know that was a possibility, kind of broke my heart. And it was like, I can't be around this because it's hurting me. And I think a lot of people who have not left the US don't even realize it's hurting them. Don't even realize how it's shaping the way they see life and how they interact with people. As a black man, like I was very homophobic. I was misogynistic. I was xenophobic. Like these are all things that I was taught. Like I learned this growing up as a black man in America. But once I moved abroad, I was like, oh shit, like this is how you live. This is what it's like to have the freedom to be whoever you want to be. Like, yo, I can go take a ballet class tomorrow. Ain't nobody gonna look at me sideways. But try to get innocent Cleveland. You know what I mean?
Back.
There's no criticism of it. Like, or if I want to have sex with 5 women in one day, ain't nobody gonna say nothing to me about
hey.
it. Like, if I want to climb a mountain, like I want to climb a mountain because it's there. Like nobody gonna say nothing to me about it. Like it's that freedom to be you or to explore whatever you want that you have abroad. But as soon as you get back to the US, that shit stop. Like figuratively and like literally, like you can't do these things. Like it's insane to me, man. And it's heartbreaking, man. And I think I've said this a million times. Every young single black man, even old single black man, every brother has got to leave the US for at least a month and go live in another country, go travel to really get a perspective on who he is. Because our narrative has been written for us by our community, by our churches, by our education system, by the police, by the government, but very rarely are young black men able to create their own narrative.
Now we got another donation coming through via the GoFundMe. Shout out to that. And Eric, once again, if they donate, I got to read the questions. You know how that.
Whatever.
The brother asked, "Where in Europe do women love their chocolate the most?" Me, obviously.
Man,
Romania?
I get all the
Is it
time.
still Romania, Eric?
You know what? But here's why I usually say Romania. I usually say Romania because it's not uncommon to see a brother with a Romanian woman holding hands walking through the city, and
And she
people
got a fat ass.
oh God, don't Romania. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. It's not uncommon to see it in Romania. This is why I say Romania a lot. Also because personally, I date sisters. Like the black woman body type that's me all day. A dark skin, mocha. Like I'm all about that. Romanians are probably the closest in Europe to that. Especially when you start dating like Roma, like people who like the Roma, Romani, or Gypsy, darker skin, Turkish. Oh man, it's a lot of love. You get a lot of love in the Scandinavian countries, but you got to remember, guys. Guys, be very clear about what I'm saying here. This is fetishization. A lot of times, it's okay to fuck you, but not to marry you. So,
Eric, you just opened Pandora's box. Go in.
It's one of those things where, and I've had this experience on 2 separate occasions where, yo, it's great to kick it. We would hook up, we go to the club, whatever. I have this little side thing, but you ain't about to meet mom and dad. You ain't going to be kicking it with the homegirls. Like, it's just not like that in a lot of different places because, I mean, they're just simply cultural norms. It's just like the same way that there's that black mom that said, don't bring no white boy to my house to their daughter. It's the same thing. It's like, it is what it is. So Romania, let me give you a top 5. Romania, Poland, all the Scandinavian countries, you're going to get love. Italy and Spain, I'm going to throw those together, and the UK. Yeah, the UK. And because there's black folks all over the UK, it's not uncommon. Like, I would say London's probably the most multicultural city in the world.
Okay. All right. The brothers in the chat going crazy right now. All right. Shout out to the GoFundMe. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it.
I can't see the chat, y'all. I can't see the chat, or I'll be talking shit too, but I can't see it.
Yeah, the chat is up on the channel, Eric. You're gonna have to go to my channel and mute it, and it'll show there. If you want to see the comments.
You get me distracted, man. Just tell me what they're saying, man.
I will. Now, Eric, you just mentioned something a moment ago, and I want to expound on that. You basically mentioned that traveling has made you more of an open-minded person. Now, I remember on our first interview, you came from the hood. Can you please, Eric, tell the people where you came from and how you got to where you are now? I know that's a long story, but tell them your story, man.
So I grew up on 76 in St. Clair in Cleveland, right, with Bone Thugs and Harmony. We all grew up together. So Cleveland's home at the foundation. I ended up having a kid really young, and I had joined the military. So joined the military, and the military kind of opened my eyes. Literally, the military was just a stepping stone. Take care of my family and get some college money. So it was simple for me, and it just kind of opened my eyes to the world, man. Like, so really, I mean, that's the TLDR of it, man. I grew up in the inner city, East Cleveland, East Side. Came up poor, broke, 99.9%. You know, anybody who knows Cleveland knows where I'm from. And the military is really what got me out, man. The military, and it wasn't necessarily just the military. The military gave me the tools to be who I am today. You know, a lot of people thought I was crazy. I was in the military for 10 years, and a lot of people thought I was crazy for leaving. And I was like, yo, the military gave me the tools to explore the world the way that I wanted to explore it, and to interact the way that I wanted to interact with it. So, yeah, that's how I ended up getting out here, man. Yeah, Uncle Sam.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, Eric, may have this mistaken thing. And once again, I have a lot of new viewers, like I mentioned, Eric, that you were just some guy from the suburbs who just happened to strike it rich by luck. But you Yeah.
And I put in the work, man. Like really, man, for real, like cats, like I put in the work, and I'm at a position. I worked myself into a position now where if I wanted to sit on the beach in Jamaica for the rest of my life, I could. Just, but it's because I've worked for it. Like my digital marketing company, like the reason I'm hitting the road now, after being off the road for the most part for 2 years, is that I've got my digital marketing company to a point where it's self-sustaining. I train my team well, my staff is dope. I'm hands off now. I don't have to run my company, my day-to-day anymore. I created that from scratch, man. Ain't nobody give me nothing. Like I don't have an inheritance, man. I didn't come. Like no, I made decisions. Like and I'm glad you brought this up, man, because a lot of cats be like, oh well, you know, you can only do that because you joined the military. Like, yeah, nigga, that's what I did. Like I made what are you talking about? Like I made a decision. Like just like you made a decision to fucking sell rocks on the block. Like you're making it like we not like it was like somebody just gave me a like, yo, I got shot at for a living. Like that was my job. And what are you talking about? Like it's this. I think people lack the basic self-awareness to be like, okay, what situation have I put myself in? What situation have others put me in? And what am I doing to get out of this position? Because ultimately, yo, and here's a message to young black men: nobody gives a fuck about you. Yo, nobody cares your struggle. Nobody cares if you're from Compton or Cleveland. Or, like, unless you can make them some money or give them something of value, they don't care about you. Sorry, man. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Like, it's just history. Like, young black men are still being shot in the streets. And we just had our first black president for 8 years. Like, how much more information do you need? So you need to realize that it's going to be on you to change your stars, as they say, to find a way to get out of that circumstance, that situation that's oppressing you. And you can't rely on your parents because unfortunately so many of us as parents or our parents, they come from shit also. They come from a position of poverty. So they're not going to know about 401ks or Ethereum or Bitcoin or long-term investments or puts and calls or international travel. Like they're not going to know about these things. So you have to seek out not only the information, but also the skills. You have to find a skill that you can market, that you can present. Yo, if you make beats, you should be selling those beats. Like if I get so many cats who are like, yo, man, I want to do what you do. Like, yeah, a lot of people want to do what I do, but what are you doing to get yourself to that position? Like, are you coding? Do you have a YouTube channel? Are you blogging? We live in a day where 16-year-olds are millionaires from playing Fortnite on YouTube. That's our world. That's the world we live in. So, yo, if you're a barber, if that's what you do, start a YouTube channel about barbering. Like, if you love Jordans, yo, the biggest sneakerhead is a little white boy in the world. He's like 17. Like this kid's a millionaire. Some little white kid is a wholesaler for sneakers and Yeezys and shit. I'm like, yo, man, this is all our community has so much potential. And I'm sorry if I'm coming off harsh, man. I see the talent of young brothers. I see the ability of young brothers, and it's going to waste complaining about oppression and how they not letting us in and how few opportunities they are. Like it was Charlemagne. I think it was Charlemagne the God. It was like opportunity comes to those who create it. And I'm like, like Jay-Z didn't wake up and as Jay-Z. You know, he worked for that. Like think of any black man who's successful and look where he came from. And that's going to tell you everything you need to know about the struggle that you're in for. But it also is going to show you that you can do it.
Now, Eric, you know I got to go there real quick, man. I got to go there. You just mentioned Bitcoin, and we talked behind the scenes about that. I got into Bitcoin about a year and a couple months ago. No, but I still look. When I got into Bitcoin, Litecoin was still $25. It's $90 now. You know, when I got into it, a lot of brothers were like, "Yo, this is a scam, this and that." And I noticed, Eric, when I start talking about financial things on Bitcoin, how to invest, because I kind of like showed my journey, how I got started. A lot of brothers are like, yeah, that's cool, but hit me back when you get rich, because I'm not going to take your advice because you're not rich. What is your thoughts on Bitcoin? Do you think it's legit, or what do you think?
Well, I think it is what it is. I mean, it's volatile. It's just like the stock market. Mind you, granted, man, I was blessed. At 19 years old, there was an older brother. He was a master sergeant at the time, and I was a fucking knucklehead. Like, I took the hood into the military with me. And he pulled me aside and he mentored me. The reason I bought my first house, I was 19, was because of him. He was like, yo, invest in property. Like, here, read this book on investing for dummies from cover to cover. And it literally made me, at fucking work, read a book on investment. It was like one of those black and yellow for dummy books. And I don't know if you guys still got those, but I read it from cover to cover. And that's how I learned about the stock market. And back then, we were getting really fat bonuses in the military. I think my first one was like $30K. And he was like, yeah, you're gonna invest 30% of everything that you make into something. And he mentored me for 3 years. Like, I was stationed for 3 years, and I invested in. Man, I made pretty good. I invested in Netflix when it first went in the beginning. So think about it. Like, and I normally don't tell people this, but look back at where Netflix started to where it is today. I invested in Netflix at the beginning. Why? It's because it was something I used. I'm like, oh, I like Netflix. And this is what I used to do. I would rent movies on Netflix, get them in. I would burn them because I was one of the first people in my area that had a DVD burner. I would burn copies and I would sell them to cats in my unit for $5, $6. And then I would send them back to Netflix. And I would do that over and over. And it was like, you can have that hood hustle mentality and you can take it to Wall Street. Like, stuff like Bitcoin, you just got to invest money you're willing to lose. I had a really bad gambling addiction for, I'd say, maybe a good 4 or 5 years. I had a huge gambling addiction. And one of the things that I learned from that addiction is you never play with money that you can't afford to lose. And it's the same thing with stuff like Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin and all these other cryptos. Is so many cats are getting into it with money that they should be doing other things with, and they can't ride the roller coaster waves. If Bitcoin, if Bitcoin lost 50% of its value tomorrow, which is possible, can you survive that? If the answer is no, you shouldn't be messing with it. So when you get cats like who have this mentality that, yeah, talk to me when you get rich, they're missing the big picture. Rich is a matter of perspective. Rich is a matter of perspective. So a lot of you cats who are only making $40K a year, that's rich to a lot of people. And granted, I travel the world for a living. Like, a lot of people think that's rich by itself. Just that experience, man. So people gotta stop having these narrow definitions of what success is. And if you're not okay with making an extra $25 every other day, then all right, man, go do you. But don't complain. Don't complain and don't hate on somebody else that does.
And to add on, and shout out to my moderator, Boonob, he says Netflix could have been bought by Blockbuster for $50 million. They passed. Yep. Now Netflix is worth over $700 million.
Yeah. Yeah, last time I looked, they were at like, man, what was it, like 412? It was really good. It was looking good. The portfolio is looking strong.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, some millennials or Generation Zs, Blockbuster's not in business no more. So
yeah, they got wiped. I think they tried to do a Netflix kind of style mail-in thing, but yeah, they couldn't handle it. They got wiped out. Yeah, I love Blockbuster, by the way. I loved them back in the day, but yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna get into something controversial, Eric. Oh, and I know the chat, they're gonna go crazy, but I gotta ask you this. Now, you are always abroad. You always get the feedback from the locals because you got your pulse on them, being who you are as a nomad. What are people's thoughts abroad about Trump? And why he won? Are they cool? What is your
I think in my travels, man, ever since I feel like Europeans care a lot more than Asians do.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, Europeans use it as a superiority thing. Like, oh, you got Trump. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, you guys aren't doing much better. But you got, like, in Asia, they don't really give a fuck. You really don't see it that, like, in my day-to-day, I don't see nothing about Trump in the news here. And, like, you'll see a story here and there, man, but they got their own shit to care about. When I travel through Europe, the conversation comes up, but it's normally from, like, young liberals because, like, a lot of liberals travel, apparently. And I have these conversations a lot amongst expats. We get into it, the back and forth as expats. But honestly, man, locals don't care that much, man. Really, because it's not like it really does not impact locals that much, and they kind of stick to their own thing. Yeah.
Mm. Now, for those of you who are just joining us, welcome to Solo TV 84. I'm interviewing who I consider one of the OGs to me, Eric Prince, aka Minority Nomad. He's been to over 90 different countries. You could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you are here right now. I appreciate that. If you're watching the playback, please smash the like button. Eric, you've been to over 90 different countries. Last time we talked, you were about to approach 90. Hold on, let me rephrase that question. Which countries have surprised you? And I don't want to be racial, but as a black man, where you're like, whoa, they accepted you, or you just went to a country that maybe they're like, no,
I can answer that now. Easy. Romania. Easily. Romania. Romania shocked me because I had a preconceived notion. Everything. But remember, we grew up in the 80s and the 90s. So, like, when you look at think about the media representation of Eastern Europe back then. Like it was like some impoverished communist country with dilapidated buildings and a bunch of racists and Adidas tracksuits everywhere. Like, it was some old world shit. Then I got to Romania and I was invited to a small town called Sibiu. Just out of the blue, like a friend of another travel journalist was looking for people of color and found me. And it was like, yo, my friend said, I'm like, y'all paying for it? All right, I'll go. Yo, man, nothing but love, dude. I have a Romanian godson now. Like, one of my best friends is Romanian. Like, if you look at my YouTube channel, my most popular videos are the ones when I went to Romania, to Slobodia, to spend time with my Romanian family now. Like, I am a family member now. Like, I go and get Christmas gifts, and like like Romania was like baffling. It still warms my heart thinking about Romania because, again, and I hate Bucharest. I think it's one of the worst cities in Europe. But the people, man, holy shit! Some of the nicest, coolest, most Romanians are like black people. Romanians are just like black people. You go to a Romanian family's house, it is just like black people. Like, watch my video and tell me, watch my Romanian videos, tell me that that's not like a black family. Like, barbecue, liquor, a loud uncle / dad, and family, man. Family and just love and music and laughing. I'm like, yo, this is home. This is just like being at home. So I would say easily Romania is at the very top of my list. The flip side, on a kind of negative standpoint, is South Africa. I was really surprised by South Africa. That not all South Africans love Nelson Mandela. Not all black South Africans love. A lot of black South Africans viewed him as a traitor. And were very critical and very vocal about it when I met them in South Africa. And the economic disparity, the class disparity that still exists there between black South Africans and white South Africans, the black on black violence there. I was there during the Moody Market riots, where Zulu went after pretty much every black foreigner there at the markets. It was insane to me. I had never actually experienced, for me, South Africa is like the presentation of great blackness. Nelson Mandela was like a rock star to black folks. But then when you actually go to South Africa, I'm like, oh, okay, it wasn't as black and white as they made it out to be. It wasn't as, all positive. And a lot of people aren't talking about what the Zulu people are doing to other people of color from Tanzania and Botswana and Zimbabwe. Like other black merchants and other black, expats. So yeah, man, those Romania and South Africa will have to be the two most shocking experiences.
Okay, all right. And once again, y'all hit the like button, man. The chat likes are free. You know what I'm saying? If you want to super chat, that's what's up as well. But I just hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? And Eric, there's a movement in the USA where a lot of men have decided they have opted out in regards to not getting married. So there's a lot of talk to go abroad to get married. My question to you, Eric, is would you ever get married abroad, or have you thought about it?
Well, man, you can't opt out of getting married and then go abroad and get married.
Well, that's what they're. Well, let's go. Let me clarify that they have opted out of getting married in the USA.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Marriage is a different thing for me, man. I view marriage. I don't have a romanticized view of marriage. I'm not a religious cat, so marriage only stands on two legs, in my opinion. One is a religious leg. One is a governmental / business transaction leg, and both of those things don't mean anything to me personally. So marriage is literally a non-starter at all. So in Romania, Thailand, the U.S., South Africa, I wouldn't be getting married for the most part. But long-term relationship. Let's go that route. Let's call it long-term committed relationship. I'm polyamorous, so I'll never be in a monogamous relationship with one woman. Just wouldn't happen. And that's culturally accepted in different places or not. But as far as being in a committed relationship, like she sleeps in my bed every night, we live together, I would definitely do that if I found the right person. And especially abroad, definitely, man. I've met many women. Man, I've dated so many amazing women. I don't date.
Which countries? Come on, name them. Which country?
Oh, easily. So I've dated Chile. My ex in Chile, absolutely amazing woman. Thailand, ex in Thailand, amazing woman. Romania, amazing woman. In Prague, the one that got away. Oh my God, I should have married her. Where else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I would say, as far as like women that I could see myself settling down with. The problem is, I'm at a point in my life where I'm not ready to be in one place, where I'm not ready to settle. Even in as far as like, I'm gonna live here as a grown up. And I had to let those things go, or they let me go. Honestly, I mean, shit, I've been broken up with just as much as I've broken up. Because the problem is, I don't play date. I'm not a cat that likes to jump from bed to bed. I'll meet somebody that I have a vibe with, and that's what I'm fucking with at that moment. That's what I'm dating, I'm sleeping with, I'm spending time with. But when that's up, it's up. It's done. Because there's always an expiration date when it comes to me. It's like I'll be somewhere for a month, a couple weeks, 3 months.
Player.
Yeah, man. Well, and it's a drawback. A lot of cats think, and again, y'all, man, I've been doing this for like 6 years. A lot of cats listen to this when I say things like this as like a positive. Like, oh, I would love to be able to go sleep with Colombian women and Mexican women and Romanians. And I'm like, yo, man, it gets old. It gets really old. And the older you get, the more you kind of want that connection. Like, yo, really, like fucking chicks is easy. It is really easy, man. Like, it's not an accomplishment, man. It's not something to be like super proud of. But building long-term friendships and relationships and quality interactions with people, not only women, but people around the world, it's difficult, man. And it takes a lot of time and sacrifice. And that's one of the drawbacks to this kind of lifestyle. You don't have time. You just don't have the time to kind of build those lasting relationships. And it's fucked up, man. And it's something that cats need to know, really.
That's deep. And right now, Eric, I got the same like talk 10 years ago from an OG when I first, and I'm not trying to make this about me, but the seduction community, And he's like, you'll come to a point, Solo, where smashing random women will get old. And I was like, yo, this dude is tripping. Russell Westbrook voice. This dude is tripping. You know what I mean? So, but then as I got older into my 30s, I realized I was more focused on my legacy, the things that I wanted to build, because there comes to a point, Eric, where you realize that when you're chasing success, women will never leave you behind if you're chasing success. They'll always be.
Women love hard work. But think about this. Women, and this is, man, I don't want this to come off as misogynistic, but people, this isn't even just a woman thing. People gravitate towards success, towards hard work. When you see a chick checking for a dude with muscles and abs, it's because dude worked for that. Like when you see a chick checking for a dude who got paper, because dude worked hard for that. Like that's just the kind of the way it is. So if you're busy chasing your legacy, yo, they're gonna respect your time. Like it's crazy how much women chase me when I don't have time to hang out with them. I'm like, yo, I can't, like right now, I only have 10 days left in Bangkok, and so many people, not only just women, want to get together, but I'm like, yo, I don't have time. You got to make an appointment. Like, we got to schedule something. my homie last night hit me up at like 8 o'clock, and he was like, yo, I'm about to go grab a beer, man. You want to come through? I know you're about to leave. I'm like, yo, homie, you got to hit me up way sooner than that because I already got plans. Like, so when you're chasing something else, when you have a legacy, yo, you gotta respect yourself. You gotta respect your time. You gotta respect your energy. You gotta respect your goals, and everybody else is gonna have to respect that. They don't have a choice. So when you look at somebody saying like a Jay-Z, like a Hov, do you think Beyonce doesn't respect Hov? Like, do you think she doesn't respect his time and his energy and his effort? Come on. Women of quality respect guys who have a goal, who are driving, who are pushing themselves. Like hood rats, they don't care, man. Like whatever, man. Just a dick.
I love it. I love it. Hey, Eric, I love it. All right, we got some donations. Let me read this real quick. Shout out to Chemistry Ibmore. Yo, I appreciate you donating. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. Y'all hit that donation. Chemistry Ibmore says, as a world traveler myself, this is a great interview. And then, Eric, we got another donation by a brother named King John. And he asked, and Eric, I'm going to let you expound on that because this is a great question. I can't believe I didn't think of it. King John asked, which countries are economically best to hustle?
So I'm gonna. That's the reason that's such a big question is because everybody's definition of hustle is going to be different. What you're hustling, for example, Thailand has a really big tech boom right now, so it's a great place if you're a tech startup, but not so much if you want to like start a tour company, for example. It's a saturated market in that space, and you can't anyway as a foreigner. So I think it depends on what your definition of hustle is. Man, it's difficult. That's a difficult question because I would need more context into exactly what he's asking as a hustle. But let me get it from a perspective on a cost-benefit analysis. Thailand is an excellent place to create an online lifestyle. Places like Romania is great. Czech Republic is very good. Hungary is very good for this as well. If you're an artist, Germany is great. The cost of living is a little high, but they have the artist visa, where being an artist, you can get a one-year visa there. Indonesia, extremely underrated. Extremely underrated place for online digital hustlers. But yeah, man, I would need more context. I would need more context specifically on what he means by hustle or what industry.
King John says he's about that. I believe digital hustling, remote type.
Southeast Asia is popular for that easily. But in Europe, I would say places like Czech Republic, Hungary, Germany, Romania. My only issue with Romania is there's not much to do. It's a very boring place. And Germany is a little bit on a pricey end of that. So That's where, but I think Budapest falls right in the middle. I think Budapest is perfect. Yeah, I specifically say Budapest because I'm not a big fan of Rest Hungary. I think it's great, it's okay, but as a digital nomad, Budapest is an excellent place, an excellent city for it. Yeah, in Europe. Yeah.
And shout out to Edward Anderson, the esteemed Edward Anderson. He says, shout out to Minority Nomad, passport and visa time. Hey, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Gotta get more brothers out here, man. More, it's interesting, man. Like sometimes I just don't want to do this. You know what I mean? I don't want to be minority nomad. I want to kind of do my own thing and chill. But the reason I constantly press publish, I always post something. On one of my channels, I try to get something up every day for y'all. Is that I know there's so many brothers out here who don't even know this is possible, like who don't even know that they can strive to kind of do the things that I'm doing and others I know are doing it. And man, it's for y'all, man. I always appreciate the love and the support, man. But yeah, man, get out here, man, and interact and reach out to me and ask me questions. And that's what I'm here for, man.
It's dope. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Eric Prince, aka Minority Nomad here, traveled over 90 different countries, a man on his purpose, a man building a legacy. Appreciate him. He's Eric, bro. Are you this isn't a question that I wrote down, but you about to leave Bangkok. Are you sad about that, or are you excited for the next adventure?
Man, you're jumping my next YouTube video, man.
Oh, I'm sorry, Eric. You know me, man. I'm a content creator. This is what I do. This is what I do.
I'm sad, man. You know what? It's funny, man. I was out with my friends yesterday, and we were talking about this, and I was like, "Yo, man, I'm gonna miss this." You know what I mean? And like I built up a community of friends, other expats, brothers, sisters from around the world, and it was funny, man. I went to go. I played Fortnite with the homies, so my headset was busted. And I'm like, "Yo, I'm about to leave in 10 days. I'm selling my PS4 or whatever. Like, I'm gonna buy a new headset." And it was like, "Yo, like my homie Kenny had an extra headset, so I went over to a spot." I grabbed a headset from him. Then I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna go get some mashed potatoes from my favorite rib shop. They got this like a food truck." So I go over there, and then I run into this guy from who does marathons. This older white guy who organizes marathons in Thailand and Dubai, like the biggest marathons in these countries. And we were just talking at the rib spot about being American, traveling around the world, and just interacting. I grabbed my mashed potatoes and went over to my homie's pizza shop. And he was there smoking out a little bit. And then a homegirl from South Africa came, and we met her, and we talked. And then my homie from Cali showed up. We had a beer. And then I got up, and I walked down the street. And then I got some mango sticky rice from my favorite vendor. Then I got some watermelon from this other little old lady. Then I walked to the condo. Then I had dinner. And then I played Fortnite with my homies. And then I got, like that was none of that was planned. It was just what happened. And I miss that. I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss the food. I'm gonna miss the kindness of the people. I'm gonna miss my condo. Shit. I'm gonna miss. I'm gonna miss hitting the gym regularly. I'm in amazing shape now because I can go to the gym every day. I'm gonna miss that. But I'm not gonna miss my creativity is taking a really big hit. My YouTube channel I don't post that much content because I'm not inspired. Because I'm not that guy to just post some shit just because. Like, oh, I gotta keep my. I'm not that guy. I need to be inspired. I need to have something to say. And I'm excited. I'm so fucking excited to be getting back out there, to be working with these different brands and these companies to kind of present new and exciting places for you guys. Like I'm planning to go to Cyprus. I've never been to Cyprus. I'm going to Georgia and Azerbaijan. I'm going to Georgia to drink wine. Like, yo, I've never been to Georgia or Azerbaijan. Like, I know a lot of white folk ain't never been to Georgia or Azerbaijan. So I'm extremely excited to be nomadic again, to be the minority nomad officially again. After 2 years off the road, building my company, it was a great time, traveling sporadically, building my stuff. But now I have an opportunity to get back to what I love doing, and that's creating content.
Eric, let me ask you this. You've been to over 90 different countries. And when I travel, whether it's domestically or internationally, I get this adrenaline rush. Do you still get that? You know what I'm talking about? That adrenaline rush, that excitement.
Yeah, man. It's the air, man. It's sitting in a fucking airport, like just people watching. It's going to duty free shops. It's not knowing what you're doing tomorrow. It's experiencing different cultures and hearing different languages. It's the confusion of going to restaurants where people don't speak English and you're trying to figure out what the hell you're eating. I'm like, yo, did I just eat rabbit? I'm like, all right, fuck, it was delicious. It's funny. That happened to me that was in Kiev. That just happened to me in Kiev. I was on my way to Chicago. It was like last November. I was on my way to Chicago and had to stop in Kiev for a meeting. So I stopped in Kiev, and then that night I was at the hotel, and it was like the meeting was in like all Ukrainian. I'm like, the fuck is this? And they brought me out to something that kind of looked suspiciously like a rabbit. And I ate it. It was delicious, but I was like, yo, stuff like that. Like that experience and that vibe, running into other travelers, man. Like the energy of a hostel, man. Like, yo, I know a lot of people think I only stay in like bomb-ass hotels, which I do, and Airbnbs, but I spend like 3 days a week in a hostel when I travel, because that's the center of the travel universe. Like all the best information you're going to get there. And just the energy, I'm 35 now, but interacting with 20, 21-year-olds, it keeps that spark alive. I was like, yo, man, like, you feed off that youth, that excitement that they have, and it kind of pushes you to kind of do a little bit more, man. But yeah, man, I'm equal parts sad, but I'm more excited, man. I'm so fucking excited to see what I can get into again, man.
But
I'm trying to hit 100. I'm trying to hit 100 before this year's out, man. So I'm trying to hit 7 new countries before the year's out. So like I know I got Cyprus lined up. I got Albania lined up, Georgia, and Azerbaijan all this year. So I got 4 already lined up. So I got to find an extra 3 to toss in there.
Hey, Eric, when you hit 101, we got to do a follow-up interview, bro. We got to.
Oh, man, for sure. Yeah.
All right, Eric. So, I'm saying this is my last question for you, unless anybody in the chat wants to donate, hit a question. But, Eric, you already know. The brothers want to know, and you've already answered this. But if you had to pick 5 places with the most gorgeous women that you've ever seen, or 7, which place would you pick?
You always get me in trouble, Solo, man. You always get me in these. Man, shit. You know what?
I mean, has it changed?
Man, not really, man. Let me say India.
India.
Yeah, dog, B. Indian women, yo, you gotta see Indian women in person. Holy shit. Especially the middle class, the wealthy Indians who can afford like to kind of be in the gym and take care of themselves. Yo, man.
India, really? Like India, not like India and California,
no,
India?
No, India. Like, trust me, I'm trying to do a trip for about a month in India, either late this year, beginning next year. You'll see. Trust me, you're going to see. India, Colombia, I would say Argentina, only because a place like Buenos Aires has, I think, the highest concentration in the world of beautiful people, because you have Uruguayans, you have Venezuelans, you have Argentinians, you have Brazilians, Colombians, all congregating there. I would go with Scandinavia as a whole. They have that Eurocentric white, blonde hair, blue-eyed beauty that really doesn't appeal to me, but I get it. Yeah, it ain't my thing, but all right. Spain. Oh God, Spain. Yeah, Spain's up there. And in Africa, South Africa. Oh my God, man, South African sisters. Something else. But again, man, and I get a lot of pushback for this. I've never really been attracted to darker skinned sisters, but I got to South Africa. I was like, oh, I get it. And Eritrea, Eritrea. I haven't actually been to Eritrea, but I can't.
Eritrea. Yes.
Glow. And again, I think in the past 2 years, I've met maybe 10 or 11 Eritrean sisters, and they have a glow. They have this unique skin tone glow that I've never seen anywhere. And actually, I've talked to them about this. They say you'll see it a lot more when you go to Africa more. And I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, Eritrea is up there. But yeah, man. But again, you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, of course. You know, so I kind of gravitate towards the Latinas, towards light skinned sisters. That's kind of or thicker body types, and that's my style. You know, like
I'm surprised you didn't say Russia.
No, no, God, no.
Really?
Man, personality comes into play for me.
Okay.
Personality comes into play when it comes to, Russians are assholes. And I'll happily say that, and I'll gladly debate it with anybody who wants to. They're fucking assholes. Like some of the worst people I've interacted with. And this is from my experience in Russia, and interacting with Russians outside of fucking Russia. Like, and some of my closest friends are Russian, and they'll tell you the same thing. Like, yo, they can be all beautiful all they want, but you have a shitty attitude. When you ask me the most beautiful people, I think about personality and looks. That matters a lot to me. And Russians, yeah, they might top tip the scales on the white beauty standard, but when it comes to personality, nah, man. I don't even want to be in the same room with most. Like, it ain't even. And I'll give and again, this is not me dismissing all Russians. Like, again, I have close personal friends who are Russian, but there is a cultural norm there of being a fucking asshole.
Okay, well, Eric, I appreciate you hopping on, man, brother. You always show out. 90 countries, man. We proud of you over here, and I appreciate you. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about or bring up since, we got you on this stream? Any topic or anything like that?
Man, not really, man. Again, I'm about to announce my since you kind of scooped me, but I'm going to be announcing this big project I've got coming up. I'm leaving Bangkok in 10 days. I'm going to be back on the road, so Minority Nomad is going to be fresh. It's going to be extremely fresh. It's going to be up to date, on the ground information from around the world, from Europe, from South America, from Asia. For the next year and a half, I'm going to be on the road one way or the other. And that's what I've got going on. And I advocate brothers to reach out, man. Ask me these questions. Ask me and request that I go to places that you've always wanted to go to, so I can go get that information on the ground. If it's some new hot destination, fuck yeah, I'll go if I ain't never been, And I think it's important for young brothers to make efforts to travel. One of the biggest things that I get in my inboxes is that so many young brothers aren't willing to put in the effort. They aren't willing to put in the effort to be great. And so many cats are okay with being average or mediocre. And it was like, I said this the other day, man, like everybody's got these $1 million tests, these $1 million tastes, but they have minimum wage work ethic. Like, yo, you want to be a boss, but you're working like a 9 to 5 cat. And it's like, you have to change the way you look at not only success, but work. Work starts when you wake up until you can't stay awake anymore. That's your work day. That's your work day. There's no days off because you're already behind. We're already behind. It's like, yo, we know this. The greatest gift to the black man is to know that the system is rigged against us. That is our greatest gift.
Yes.
Is that we have knowledge. So now that you know the game is rigged, what are you going to do about it? That's the question that every brother has to ask himself. The game for me to be successful is rigged against me. How do I beat that? So if I left you guys with anything, that's my biggest thing. Find a way to make your dreams happen. Just everybody else can go to hell with what they think about what you want to do. If you want to be a ballerina, be a ballerina. If you want to be a sneakerhead, be a sneakerhead. If you want to be a Fortnite gamer, be a Fortnite gamer. If you want to be a writer, be a fucking writer. But engage in that. Go to people who know more than you. It's like playing basketball. Like, you didn't just wake up with a great jump shot. You practiced. You had coaches. You had teammates. You surrounded yourself with people to get you to that goal. If you want to be a writer, if you want to be a great photographer, surround yourself with other writers, other photographers. Learn from people who create work that you enjoy, that you think is better than yours, and copy them or at least engage them. Like, reach out to people like me. You'll be shocked. You will be shocked. And this is still baffling to me that Solo is shocked by this, and it's frustrating. It's like, if you reach out to me, I'm going to respond. I'm going to answer you. I might not have time to go into all the kind of details I do in streams like this, but you're going to get a response from me one way or the other. You know, so don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to take a risk. Don't be afraid to go against the norm. Don't be afraid to get clowned. Don't be afraid to get clowned by your friends, because everybody that does something different outside of the norm does. And everybody who does something different outside of the norm fails. That's how you know you're making progress. That's how you know you're making progress. Try to fail every single day at something.
Eric, one more question, bro. Yo, Eric's talking that shit. By the way, thank you, Freelance Ronin, for the donation. Let me read that super chat. He says, drop this into the tip jar. Solo just passing through. I'll have to catch this one on the replay. Keep up the good work, bro. You definitely want to catch this one on the replay. A lot of isms and jewels drop. Eric, last question, man. If you had to pick 5 or 7 countries, and this is a different question, Eric. I know you're probably thinking, which 5 or 7 countries got the fattest asses? No. But 5 or 7 countries with the best food, the best grub, where you just want to get in. What are those countries?
I'm waiting. India. I'd say India, Thailand, and Italy. I say it all the time. Those 3 kind of fluctuate. Depends on what I'm in the mood for. India, Thailand, and Italy. Then comes in the back door is Malaysia.
Malaysia. Why Malaysia? Please expound on that.
Because Malaysia has 3 different cuisines at the same time working together. You have Chinese, you have Malay, you have Indian, all kind of doing their own vibe kind of thing. I love Malaysian cuisine, delicious stuff. I think I'll toss Mexico in there. Mexico has some amazing cuisine, but here's one that a lot of people don't know about: is South Africa. South Africa has the best food culture when it comes from a cost-benefit analysis. You're getting Michelin-level food for Applebee's prices. Like, South African's food scene is underrated. Like, I was baffled by how great the food is. Shout out! There's a restaurant. There's a lot of restaurants in South Africa, but I say go to Cape Town and Durban. The food in Cape Town and Durban, amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm about to, hit that Indian spot down in South Minneapolis or Dinky Town.
Indian food though, like when you get I'm telling y'all, the content's about to be fire. There's a dish called bobo tea, and I'll close out with this story. So I was on a press trip in South Africa, and I was at this restaurant called Gold. Amazing restaurant. And I have a video on my YouTube channel. If you go to my YouTube channel and you look for South Africa, you should be able to find it. And I went to this restaurant called Gold. And I was on a press trip, so it was maybe 15 journalists on it. And we were there, and I had boba tea for the first time. It's almost like a casserole, like a casserole dish. And I go out, and I'm one of the first people out of the restaurant, and I go to the bus driver, and the bus driver is a Zulu South African. And we were talking, he was like, oh, how'd you like it? Because he knew this was my first time in South Africa. And I was like, I loved it. It was amazing. The boba tea was amazing. He was like, yeah. And he was like, that's for colored people. And I'm like, what? He's like, boba tea, they make that for colored people. And I'm thinking in my head, I was like, this is some kind of magical, like just made for black folks. And then he explained, like, no, in South Africa, colored is a separate, like, ethnic group. It's an actual ethnic group, coloreds. And I was like, holy shit. Because, in the U.S., somebody called you colored, it's a problem. But in South Africa, it's a separate group with its own culture, its own language, its own cuisine. And it was like, that's one of those magic things about not only food, but about travel. It's like you learn stuff like that. Amazing experience in South Africa.
Well, Eric, listen, you guys, follow Eric on his channel, Minority Nomad. You know what I'm saying? Sign up to his channel. And then if you sign up to his channel, mention it in the comments, and we'll put you in the book drawing that I'm gonna do next. You feel me? Eric, I'm just blessed to have you, brother. You are an inspiration to me. I interview a lot of people, but when I get you on, it's always positive energy. Like you, bro, like I really believe in the manifestation of things. And Eric, listen, 2 years from now, I'm gonna have a yacht party in Miami with Bitcoin paid for it. I want you to be there, bro.
Hey man, I'll come to it, man. I'm always down, man, for a meetup or something. Man, you never know, man. I might end up in the city, man. You be surprised, man. You be shocked, man. But yeah,
I mean,
thank you so much for having me, man, and exposing me to your audience and your audience to me, man. It's channels like yours, man, that come from a place of love and positivity. Not constantly droning on about ass and titties. Like it's stuff like it's channels like yours that really kind of keep my hope alive for our space on YouTube and different other outlets. So anytime you need me on, man, just hit me up and I'll work it in. I'll try to get on as much as I can, man. Thank you.
Definitely, Eric. And I know you said you're gonna be busy now with your new ventures, not YouTubing as much, but brother, man, if you get a chance, we need those vlogs, man.
Oh no. Oh, YouTube is about to be fucking popping. Like YouTube is YouTube is about to really wake up, man. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Like I'm about to go the next year and a half. I'm going full content creator, y'all. My business is done, is ready, is good to go. But my entire focus is on creating great content for you guys. So yeah, the next year and a half is going to be excellent. Yeah.
And like I said, when you hit 101 countries, we need you back. We're gonna have a list. It's gonna be the 101 list. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna work on that right now. But yo, everybody, make sure Eric's channel is in the chat. It'll be in the description. Make sure you subscribe. This brother is the real deal. He is the real deal, Holyfield. He's traveled. He's got receipts. We need brothers like that doing their thing. And he's for the black man. That's what I love about it. He's not one of these bougie guys who thinks he's too good. He's willing to work with the brothers, giving you the advice on the free. He could say F it and charge you a gazillion dollars like some of these other channels, but he really wants to see people improve. And for that, I commend him. You guys hit the like button. We bless. And with that being said, also follow his channel. I got the screen up, Minority Nomad, right there. And then if you want to follow him on IG, see some of the most beautiful pictures. I mean, hey, Eric, I got to ask you this, bro. As an amateur photographer who uses his freaking iPhone or Android, what type of camera you use, if you don't mind me asking?
Sony. I'm actually one of the Sony ambassadors. I work with Sony.
Okay. Eric, you got to send me a link of what you use so I can put that on my Amazon wish list. You know what I'm saying? But I love your pictures. It's inspiring. And with that being said, Solo TV 84, Minority Nomad, we out. Peace.
Appreciate it.